Hello, my name is Matthew Nanes from Chapters Creative, and here is another website review where I break down brands and basically see if we want to do business with them. Because I believe whenever brands have a website, it should be like the messaging hub where you should be able to go on the website and find out everything that you need to know as a customer to do business with them. So this takes us to CupBop. So if you're from Utah, you likely know who CupBop is. I do know that they were on Shark Tank and got Mark Cuban to invest in them. They have stores all around the West, I believe like Idaho and Colorado and such. Also, they're massive in Indonesia, of all places, but they originated where I come from, Utah. So as far as my history with CupBop, I've been eating their stuff for a long time, over a decade now. I used to work at overstock.com, and they would come bring their food truck over, and I would come and eat it. And then even at one point, like, they took a picture of me and used it like in their marketing. So if there's anyone out there that to have a picture of someone eating their food, being happy, I'm your guy. But yeah, I really love their stuff, and they soon branched out from their trucks, because they had multiple food trucks, and then they started having physical locations and even being inside of the arena the Utah Jazz play in as well. And then came their success, with Mark Cuban, giving them some money to help them out and all that. But then I moved away to Tennessee for 2.5 years, and then I came back, and I've had CupBop a couple times since. So first, I just kind of want to talk about the experience, because the company was started by two Korean guys. I don't remember if they went to BYU or whatever. I don't know the origin story that much, but it was a very fun and infectious place to go. When you knew you're ordering from their food trucks, you knew it was going to be a very happy and very fun experience. And I appreciated that, right? Just as someone who has worked in retail for a long time, about almost 10 years of my life I've been in retail. And so it was interesting to see what happens when people grow, right? So I don't know about you, but like when I know a restaurant is about to blow up and they get bought out by someone else, or they expand, there's some things you start to get concerned about, whether it's with their like the food quality or the service and all of that. So this review isn't so much only the website, but I kind of want to talk about like the overall state of things here. Because when I came back, I went to two different locations, one north of Salt Lake and one south of Salt Lake. The first time I went back was south of Salt Lake, and it was in the drive-thru, and one of the employees were talking about how they didn't get like their last check or something, and they're just kind of complaining about things. I'm like, wow, that's not A, like that's not a good sign, but B, it's also like very different than my initial experience, going to CupBop. And then I went up north and went to that location, and it was kind of clear that like it was very disorganized. Again, like people not like bringing that same energy that they can. I know it's very hard to duplicate like the energy of the founders or those beginning, the first employees and things like that. But I have to feel that their brand has suffered a bit because of that. And so what I want to do here is like, can we find some of the magic here on the website? Like, did they lose everything? It's like them going to Shark Tank and getting money and expanding. Like, is it hurting them, right? So there's a few things I want to make sure we find out here. Is it easy to do business with them? Do we know exactly what they do and who they are within like the first 3 to 5 seconds of going to their website? And do they have an easy to understand brand? Like, are we like looking at their logo and their tagline? Is it clear to know? So let's start. So let's go from above the fold. Is it clear that we know what they do within the first 3 to 5 seconds you're on the website. So it's really, I think you can take a look at this yeah, it's like, so what I'm going to do right here is this section up here is above the fold. And so it says here, make it a meal and save any CupBop, Yogo Vera, or Mandu. Pick any drink. Okay, so we can take a look at it, and it's clear that, it's some sort of like Asian food, right? But also, like it says, CupBop, Korean barbecue in a cup. Okay, so I think overall, we can paint a pretty good picture about what they do, above the fold. I wish it was less of an offer right away. I know some businesses, like, you do want an offer like right away, but at the same time, like, it's not like they're Taco Bell. They're still, growing. People are still finding out who they are and what Korean barbecue is, because I never had Korean barbecue until, I was working at Overstock, right? So like that was the first time I tried it. So I think there's still some education and some initiation that needs to happen for the audience that they want to get into, because if you watch the Shark episode that they're on, they talk about, how there's only one Asian food in the top 30 of like fast casual or something like that. So I think they're referring to Panda Express, right? But they're not on that level yet. We're not there yet, guys. So what I do see here, right underneath here, it says Bop on By for a new taste adventure. I think that does a much better job explaining of what they do within the first 3 to 5 seconds. And so somehow if we could flip that, especially in these markets where they're brand new, I think that would help them out a lot. Okay, so let's see how easy it is for us to do business with them. Okay, let's go back up here to above the fold. So they do have a big order button right here. It's pretty big. It's pretty easy to find. I tend to like something else down here, just make sure we don't miss it. I'm not going to penalize them too much for that, because the order button's it's pretty easy to find. There's some websites where like you kind of have to, it's smaller and you kind of have to go through the magnifying glass to see what they actually do. So let's go click order here. Okay, pick up or delivery. All right, so you have a map here. So I saw earlier that, there's CupBop in Idaho and Utah, Arizona, Colorado, I believe. So let's just go here. Let's make it easier on ourselves. And I went to a CupBop in Layton, Utah. I'll hit enter. Okay, nothing is coming up. Let's see if it's one of those things where like a location pops up when you zoom in. It is not doing that. Okay, so let's go ahead and use my location. Maybe it'll pop up then. Okay, successfully access current location. Still nothing. This isn't good. I really want to... I hope it's just not my browser or anything like that, but like this should be something that they should figure out, to be able to be used by all browsers. I'm using Chrome. Shouldn't be that hard. Let's go find CupBop. Okay, CupBop store locations. You would think if I hover over Utah, something will pop up and I'll be able to click. I am not getting that. If I were living in Utah, Idaho, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, or Oklahoma, I don't know how to do business with you other than going to Google, but that's just wasting my time even more. So they kind of fail that test, right? They pass the test where I know what they do within the first 3 to 5 seconds because of the branding here. Bummer. Okay. So let's just move on to branding now. So I do think their logo here is pretty obvious, like what it is, like especially, the product. So I think that they do a good job with that. The colors, the white, yellow, and black, they've had that for a long time. I do think it works for them. I will say, even though my personal experience with the brand has been kind of soured lately, my past couple of retail experiences, the food is really good. Maybe there's been a slight hit on the quality of the food, but I still enjoyed it. What I like here, let's talk about some of the language they have here. Bop on by for a new taste adventure. Unique Korean style dishes and our special brand of fun are always on the menu. I think that's great, Although the brand of fun, I can't but help but feel that has changed. Of course, like they're kind of leaning on their founders and their past, like yeah, we have fun, but like that hasn't been my experience. So I think they need to work on that internally in their culture and make sure they're paying people what they're worth and having a fair wage and making sure people are proud of what they do, and maybe the fun will come back. So how to eat CupBop. So like they have a very specific way of ordering. I think this is perfect. I'm glad they have this on the front page so people can understand like what they're in for when they go get CupBop, because it's not getting delivered. If you go to the website here, you click on order, you're gonna have to go to a third party and waste more time. So who we are, CupBop. Okay, I'm clicking on it. It says too delicious. Don't eat the cup. Like, but you're not answering like who we are. No, I know it's answering like who we are, CupBop. Like it's not doing anything for me. Okay, catering. You probably have an easier time doing catering than you are to order from the site here. Okay, cool. So we did a basic, review of this website. And again, like whatever I find out of, a fast casual restaurant or just any like place that I enjoy eating or retail chain, like, oh, we're expanding, like I get nervous, right? Because a lot of things get lost. And so overall, do I think CupBop has a good brand? Yeah, I guess they do. It looks good. Like, they're leaning into the Korean aspect, like, like the florals here, right? Like lots of Korean influence stuff, and they're staying true to that, and I think that's great. But they have some work to do to either like rehabilitate their brand to be a lot like before, and maybe take less money from investors, right? Maybe have a little bit more control over the culture of the brand. And so if you're in Utah or any of these other places, like, yeah, give it a shot. But like, I am concerned about your experience when you go inside the stores here. So CupBop, good brand for the most part. Yeah. So maybe it's like overall, especially I think the product is really where the brand comes together, right? So if you have a really sexy looking brand, but the product is crap, that's when you're in trouble. And they're kind of halfway there, like as far as they had a great brand, they had a great culture, they had everything that made people excited that, like, oh, CupBop's here, like the truck is here, let's go. Like, are people that excited anymore to experience CupBop? And I don't know. That wasn't my experience. So, lesson to be learned. If you have a brand and you have products and you have a culture, fight for it. Fight to keep the products great. Fight to keep just like the overall experience of what makes you special. Of course, we all want to be successful in what we do for business, but at the same time, we want to make people feel special too, right? And I hope and wish CupBop the best, because they do have a great product. But like when you go into a store and your employees look like they're just are having the worst day of their lives, like something's changed. So just a word, right? And again, I wish CupBop the best, and you should try the food, but I'm hoping they're getting their act together. If you want to work with me, my website is www.chapterscreative.com. I can work on your brand strategy. I can also help pair you with brand designers to bring your brand to life. And also, if you're needing a website, we can do that too. So let me know. My email is chapterscrtv@gmail.com. Again, chapterscrtv@gmail.com. Thanks for your time.